Well, welcome aboard and happy Friday, my friends. It's nice to have your company here as we launch episode 20 of the digital live stream show called Here and There. My name is Anwar Knight, your host. It is a privilege to have your company. What a beautiful way to close out the week. And I am really excited to give you a tour of Hyde Park officially. Now, the reality is, you know, we could spend 2 weeks here and we wouldn't be able to cover everything that we want to do. So we're going to show you a portion of it. But there's so many cool little stories and gems that we want to sort of pull back the curtain on, and I'm delighted to do that. In fact, you know, this spot is one of the most significant natural sites in the city, and what makes it so special is the fact that it is literally less than 10 kilometers away from the downtown core. Now, I'll let you know, with all the trees here, some of the signal may go. If that happens, we're just going to fire back up and we'll reconnect with you. Just make sure you refresh your page on Facebook and then you'll find our new feed. I don't anticipate we'll have a problem, but we just wanted to let you know that with all the trees here, because we're down on the bottom, there is certainly a chance that it might start to buffer a little bit. But we have a real fun show coming up. We're going to tour some of the gardens. We're going to make our way up towards the cafe, and we're going to connect with you. Lots of things going on. In fact, we also have your full forecast. We're tracking the heat and humidity. That's going to start to come. So let's be careful. They're having a water fight. Let's just hold out here for a sec, guys. They're playing with the water fountain, and Vern is already partially wet. So, all right, one for the team. We're just streaming live, guys. Want to say a quick hi? Just wave. Hi. Okay. So, is this a summer camp? Oh, that's good. You're having a little water fight. Good for them. All right. So anyway, we're going to be, we'll have the AKQ. We'll have also, of course, the full forecast. And we will also do another installment of the Nod to Nature. We're going to celebrate Moth Week. Now, you know, the thing is, I know they sort of flutter around like drunken lost souls, but moths have a purpose. And I'm going to prove that. I said drunken lost souls, and Vern sort of connected with that. You should have seen him like, what's wrong with that? But yeah, so we're going to do that, but we'll do it towards the top of the hill. But you know what's really neat is that thousands of people come here throughout the year, not just in the summertime. But what's beautiful, in fact, there are some people having some picnics. Some gentleman is sleeping there. Other people are sleeping. Maybe I shouldn't be so loud. But the thing is, the good thing is there's a lot more choices now, you know, with the restrictions easing. We're into stage 3. There's a lot more summer ideas. The Toronto Zoo has opened up, Canada's Wonderland, as well as the Wild Water Park, with still some limitations. But I wanted to share one thing with you, that it's not in Canada, but it has opened up. So this is in Pennsylvania, and it is the world's largest and biggest inflatable slip and slide festival that has opened up. And the video is really cool. And this is actually being set up at a ski resort. It's at one of the largest peaks in the state. In the winter, of course, it's for skiing. In the summer, they're utilizing the space. It's sort of a traveling event, if you will. And this goes down the hill. It's one of the largest peaks in Pennsylvania. And what happens is that it's 3 kilometers long. And you can go down a mattress or a rubber ring, if you will, and you make your way through, and they keep the water going. And that is one of the options of things you can do to have some fun in the U.S. and the state of Pennsylvania. But it got me thinking about our AKQ. And the AKQ, not necessarily about a summer vacation on where you're going, it's who you're going with. So the Anwar Knight query is, and here we're seeing that video here now, the Anwar Knight query is, if you could spend a part of your summer with somebody famous, who would it be? It could be an actor, it could be maybe a musician, maybe an author. The only criteria is that they still have to be living. And you know, it's interesting because Charlie Sheen, you know, from the neck down, he's alive. His organs are sort of working. From the head up, it's questionable. But I'll leave that for you. He's flatlined up there, and that was a few years ago. But he's still a celebrity, and maybe that's your thing. But that's the AKQ that I'm asking you today is there a celebrity, is there somebody famous that you would like to spend a part of your summer with? Ricardo, if I asked you? Putting you in the spot.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, you think about it. I'll tell you mine. It would be David Attenborough. I would love to tag along for a couple of weeks when he's shooting one of his, Planet series. I just think it would be fascinating, just even to chat with him. How about you, Vern? Famous person?
You're my guy.
See,
Nobody else. I already have you.
he checks in with me every week. All right, well, famous. Richard, can I ask you?
Price is Right models. Pick one.
Oh, stop you. Ricardo?
I don't know. Maybe Sofia Vergara would be fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Absolutely. So that's what we're asking you. We have lots of people joining us. Helen is watching from Whitby. Kathy says High Park is my favorite place to walk my dog. And also, Susan Gibbons is watching. Brenda says hello from Oshawa. Linda's joining us. Joyce Piper's watching. Laura says, yeah, we're back. Yes, we are. We are back. Also, Ron says several members of the Mississauga Classic Car Club are looking in. Well, welcome. We should do a show with you guys. That'll be a lot of fun. And Nancy says that is a spectacular slide. I thought it was kind of neat. And it just opened up. Again, it's the world's largest slip and slide festival, and that's happening in Pennsylvania. Shauna says me. Well, that's very kind of you. Leslie says hello from Kingston. Janet is joining us. Madeline says Paul McCartney. That would be very cool. That would be very cool. And he's at that stature of coolness. You could just sit at a park for 2 weeks with him, right? It's not like you need a slip and slide. Janet says, OMG, hands down, John Bon Jovi with this Hampton water wine, please. That sounds like just a weekend, Janet. It can't go longer than that, all right? Kathy says the slides look so refreshing. Rick also says Paul McCartney. And Narita says, beautiful location, and still watching with us. Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to try to move on a little bit here so we can make sure that the signal is good. I want to show you one of the gardens, though. That is the maple leaf garden here. So there are many different gardens across the park. This one, it actually is more spectacular from atop of the hill. So I'm going to show you a picture that I took, and you can really get a perspective of what it looks like. And that, when we get to the top looking down, you'll see that it's a sugary maple leaf. And the beauty about it all is that was the view that the Queen had. So in 1959, when she came to Toronto, they opened that garden for her, and she was all the way at the top saying, oh, that's so beautiful, you have your beautiful colors, it's just such a beautiful High Park, wonderful. And then she left, So they probably worked for months and months and months. She did a royal wave, so it's nice, and moved on. But it's still here today, and it really is beautiful. You can see, and this is literally this week. I took this picture here, so you can see the colors, and you get the idea of it. So if you're looking for a unique spot just to sort of get a great view, you may want to go on top of the hill there and take a look at the maple leaf floral garden. So we're continuing our stream here live at High Park, and our AKQ, Kathy, if you missed it, if you could spend a part of your summer vacation with somebody famous, could be anybody, actor, author, musician, activist, doesn't matter as long as they're alive, who would it be? And we're going to connect with you on that. Joyce Piper is saying Elton John. Yes, that would be very cool. We were in Lucca, Italy, several years ago. It's a very small stoned wall city, right? Very tiny, no cars are allowed in it. And just out of a fluke, we were there, we were touring Italy, we were staying there for 3 nights, and we started to hear what sounded like Elton John. And I thought, oh, maybe it's, somebody's just doing his covers, because we're in Lucca, a small town in Italy. Sure enough, it was one of his tour stops, and he was rehearsing for that night. So we we didn't get tickets because they were sold out, but we just walked around the town and you can hear all the songs. It was really a magical evening for so many reasons.
So Anwar, we didn't get to see the Lake Ontario shot. If you want to ask for that again.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I appreciate it. We'll get to that in just a moment. Thank you for bringing that up, Vern. Diana Luzis would love to spend a day with you. That would be an awesome day. You're very kind. Thank you for that. Brenda is joining us. Hello, Brenda. And Zainer Khan says, I would be with a YouTuber named Mr. Clink OG that lives in Northumberland County. Interesting. I like that. And Marag says, happy Friday, everyone, from Georgetown. And Ron says they've already spent time with me. Yes, John Shepard is joining us. He is watching. So a couple of things I wanted to point here. What I love about the show is that we pull back the curtain on some of the gems, some of those little stories that you may not be aware of. You may have passed this tree here, and it really is spectacular. This is a Dawn redwood. And what's fascinating about this tree, so Ricardo, you want to just stay there in case of the signals, but you can see, you know, the base and all the roots. It's such a beautiful, striking tree. And this tree dates back to the dinosaur age. At one time, they thought they were extinct. And then in the, I think it was the 1947, maybe around 1950, they found a small collection in China. And then some professors came and they grabbed some seeds. And the theory is, perhaps from that journey, the seeds were then, you know, dispersed. Now, hard to say if that was a part of it, but that is one theory. But isn't that tree just amazing? And every time we come here, we see kids that come and they climb around it. Just beautiful stuff. And that is just along the shore of Grenadier Pond. And Grenadier Pond, you can see it just sort of poking through there, right, Ricardo? You see the pond? Just barely. Okay, so the pond is huge, right? It's a kilometer long, half a kilometer wide. And it really is a big draw. I say it's the anchor here of the park for so many reasons. And you can go fishing there. Of course, you have to adhere to restrictions. But the story about it is fascinating because, you know, you go back 20,000 years and this was all ice. And we're not talking just a coating of ice. We're talking about, let me just ask these guys. Hi guys, sorry to interrupt you. We're just streaming live. We're just asking our viewers if you could spend a part of your summer vacation with somebody famous, who would it be?
Someone famous.
Anybody. Could be an artist, could be an activist, an author, but they have to be alive.
Have to be alive.
Yeah. Anybody? Anybody?
Spend a summer vacation.
Come on, there must be somebody.
I feel like I'm gonna go with Leo DiCaprio because he's got good boats.
Okay.
Spend a summer on
Why not? So, Leah, so both of you guys, would you recreate the scene from Titanic, King of the World? Yeah.
Before the sinking part too.
Okay, well, we appreciate you joining us, all right? Thank you so much. They're enjoying the park here, too. Anyway, so everybody has their own celebrity, right? But the Grenadier Pond, so this was all ice, and we're talking a kilometer thick. I mean, this was just, not only was all of High Park, but most of Toronto was covered in ice. And then what happened, of course, we started to get a melt going on. And this included the retreat all the way down in towards eastern sections of the province through Kingston. That was like a cork for all of this flow. So once that, Richard, is that your cloth for your camera?
That's okay, thank you.
Once the flow was opened up, a lot of that water then started to recede. So we're going to go this way, guys. And that was the beginning stage of another lake. And that lake is not what Lake Ontario is. It was Lake Iroquois, and it was huge. So I want to show you a picture of what was, I mean, the original Lake Ontario, and I've broken down sort of over the thousands of years in terms of the size of this lake. You know, there is actually research that shows once it continued to retreat all the way down to the bottom of the lake, there's actually a shoreline, almost, you know, it dropped by 85 meters, and there's an ancient shoreline at the bottom of Lake Ontario. So really just fascinating. And then what happened, it continued to retreat, and you have to remember the glaciers, I mean, the weight of glaciers, we're talking about hundreds of millions of tons. As it all started to retreat, it was a weight lifted off. And the Earth is almost, one researcher describes it as memory foam. So once that weight comes off, it actually starts to bounce back. It actually starts to decompress. So it was through that decompression that you started to see the rivers and streams in the area. They were no longer flowing into Lake Iroquois. So through more glacial reformations and changes through evolution, even the streams and the rivers from here started to get cut off, and as a result, they started to form trapped ponds, and Grenadier Pond is one of those trapped ponds. Now, it's the largest one here in the park. There are several of them, but it's really amazing to think this goes back, you know, to the Ice Age, and that pond is here today. So we're continuing up, you know, we're walking up through the maple leaf garden, coming up to the rock garden. Before we do that, I want to get to the forecast. We're going to start off by letting you know that the weather is brought to you by the Big Blue Marble podcast. As we continue live streaming here at High Park, we're connecting with you, and I have a question to ask you. So we're sort of at a crossroad here. You know, up on this pathway, and that's the beauty here. They have a number of pathways, and the pathways, you know, they all really work into one loop. Do we go to the right, or do we go to the left? You guys let me know what you think we should do. Left or right as we approach the rock garden here. And again, the AKQ is if you could spend a part of your summer with somebody famous, who would it be? So as soon as we get the first answer, right or left on this path as we stream live here at High Park, we will figure out which way to go. And I should also tell you, okay, Alan says we're going right. So thank you, Alan, for that. Off we go. So we're going to move up here. And this is what is called the rock garden, and there's so many different things to view here. So what we'll do is we'll sort of pan over, and you can start to see. I hope the tree doesn't knock our signal down, but you can see here. Judy says go like Disney and head left, young man. You're right. That's what they say. When you go to a line at Disney, go to the left, because not many people do. That's a good thing. So we're going right as it is, and you can see here, this is really just a beautiful thing. Now, there's usually cascading waters that go through here. Plumbing, they're doing repairs, so it's not flowing, but it's another thriving ecosystem. In fact, there's a chipmunk. Fern, oh, you just scared it. Fern's big feet. You should have seen that thing. Woo! He just took off. So we're going to get up to the hill and we see if we can connect. But I should let you know, that half of the park. Oh, sorry, folks. We'll get out of your way if you want to come down here. We're just streaming live here, so we'll let them go down. So half of this park is designated as environmentally sensitive. There's so many different types of plants. But here's another perspective as we're going up the hill. You're starting to see some of the valley there, and it's really quite something. And some of the rare plant species here also include the rare black oak woodland, which is quite a significant ecosystem. Some experts say less than 1% still surviving in the world, and they suggest that this area has one of the largest of the black oak ecosystem, if you will. Savanna is what it's really officially called. So it's really, really amazing. Now there's so many different things you can hear, but I love the elevation here now, because here's a pathway. And should we risk it going down? The other side is quite good too, so let's do that. So I'll lift this up, Vern.
Okay.
And we're going to go down here as we stream live at High Park. Cindy says she actually had her wedding photos taken at that very spot 34 years ago. How cool is that? Chris Bonita is joining us, and Bonita says Chris Hadfield. Well, that would be very cool. And also we have John Shepard. If he could spend the day with someone, it would be either Betty White or Dick Van Dyke. You know what? You're right. That would be very cool. That would be really quite something. Dick Van Dyke in himself, boy, both really icons. You're absolutely right, John, so thank you for that. We're going to continue along here, and again, this is the rock garden, so normally you would have flowing water coming all the way down. So we're going to make our way up. So Ricardo, I'll let you lead just because people are coming down. Okay, you want us to go here? Okay. And we will continue our journey, because there's one more thing I wanted to show you as we get to the top. There is about 550 plant species. 300 of them are native, and a handful of the plants that do grow here are almost exclusively found here, and we're talking in Canada. There's maybe 3 or 4 other places where you'd find a handful of some of these plants. So that's what makes it so amazing to see. So we're going to continue our workout here. Like, you know, I'll tell you, we are probably the most unfit team on the planet, but that's okay. We need this, guys. We need this. Gonna fly now. Oh, my goodness. So we're streaming live here at High Park. Stay with me here. I got another really cool thing I want to show you as we get to our nod to nature. Jennifer says a beautiful park. Shauna says, my son Zachary said, send hearts, Mommy. Yes, send hearts. I love that. Hearts, a parade of hearts, always good. So what I wanted to do is take you up to here, and that's where the cafe is, just to our left. the Grenadier Cafe, but we're going to go to the right up here to see one more of the gardens, because it really is quite something. And there's a particular tree I wanted to point out, because we're celebrating Moth Week, right? Well, I want to show you one thing in particular that really is quite interesting. And just for a second, Ricardo, can you just pan down? Like, you see this? I mean, honestly, you could spend easily a full day, but you could come here, you know, for a full week every day and not see all of it. That's what makes it so special. Okay, so we're just going to quickly wrap up here as we stream live at High Park. Not quite sure why the signal is so difficult now, because it was during our test not a problem. But I just wanted to point out here, if you look up, you'll be able to see the spongy gypsy moth sacks. So that's the leftovers, and you know, it's nice to see all the greenery here, because several weeks ago all of these oak trees were denuded. They were void of leaves because of the caterpillars. That is one example, certainly, of, you know, the fact that some moths are not good. That's an invasive pest. But there are, experts say, almost 500,000 different types of moths on the planet. They outnumber butterflies 9 to 1, and they're fascinating creatures. So as we end off with our nod to nature, I wanted to highlight a couple of them. And the first is the Atlas moth, and this is the world's largest moth. I mean, this is bigger than your hand. Now, you don't find that here in Canada, certainly, but I want to show you some of the pictures, because it really is quite significant. You know, it's 12 centimeters long, the caterpillar itself, and then the wingspan when it's a moth is 25 to 30 centimeters. It's native to China and India. And when they become a moth, they don't eat. They live about 2 weeks and then they die. But huge ecological benefits. They pollinate plants. They're a major food source for birds, bats, and vern. No, but I kid. In some parts of the world, they eat it because lots of protein in there. I wanted to show you one more, and that's the rosy maple moth. And this one you can find here in Ontario. I've never seen one, but almost whimsical, something out of a fairy tale, and they are a favorite food for blue jays and black-capped chickadees, and the best chance to see them is at nighttime, the rosy maple moth. So we are officially celebrating Moth Week. Fascinating creatures, and certainly deserve respect. So we're going to wrap things up now. We want to thank you for your support. Please give us a parade of hearts and thumbs up. Obviously, we had a few little issues with the signal. It might be just the number of people who has cell phones here. Everybody has a cell phone? Yeah, they might be competing with our signal right now, but that's okay. This guy's staying. He's not going anywhere. He's claimed the spot, right? My friends, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, safe, and happy weekend, and we look forward to your company next week on Here and There. Take care.